with our 100 days of community, and we are at day 18. And day 18 is kind of heavy. So I want you to grab some water, maybe a journal, or you could do that later on when you listen to the replay. But we are going to be talking about decolonizing, allyship, and censoring the most impacted. This gets touchy in the anti-racism realm, right? On allyship. And I am going to lead in with, I will remember to add in some articles that I wrote about allyship, right? Like where I'm like, I don't believe in allyship, and I'm going to tell you guys why. When we look at the word allyship, it is a war term. Good morning. It is a war term, and most people, very specifically white people, are not willing to admit that we are at war. Maybe now, but in the past, very specifically during these 4 years. So when I hear the term ally, I'm like, are we at war? Are you willing to say that? Good morning, Garland. Also, when you talk about allies as a war term, it means I'm going to get something and you're going to get something. How do we gain something? Good morning, Jamie. How do we gain something from this collaboration? When you hear allyship in the terms of anti-racism work and anti anything at this point in time, it no longer means that. It's not a war term. It does not mean that we are collaborating against a united, having a united force against some oppressive force, and we're both going to get liberated. Allyship has turned into a word that says, I can help you. Allyship has been something that has now masked itself as saviorism. And as we could see, you can't save yourselves from the system. Therefore, you cannot save anybody else. Very specifically, those who supremacy culture is inescapable for. That would be white supremacy is inescapable for Black and brown bodies. Cis supremacy is inescapable for those who are clockable, right? Not all trans people are going to look the way supremacy culture demands. Anybody who is physically disabled, that is that ableism and that kind of supremacy. So we're looking at all of those layers. So when we are decolonizing allyship, we have to take a second look. Another thing is, ally is not a self-appointed term. You're not going to like that. You're not going to like that. That's okay. Stick around. Okay. Just hold yourself. Know that I am delivering this truth in love. Okay. Allyship is not a self-appointed term. I want you to think about how you sound when you say, I'm an ally to pick a group, to Black people, to trans people, to Jewish people, to disabled people, to queer people. I'm an ally to the LGBTQ. You know every single one. You know every Black person in the globe. And all of them have agreed and said that you are their ally, because we are not a monolith, right? And when you take a position to self-appoint yourself an ally, you really dehumanize the group. That is my opinion. I will die on that hill, right? It's not like you are an ally to the tuna, right? We're not like a save the fish, save the dolphin movement. We are a group of humans, and we are not only fighting for our own humanity, we're fighting for the humanity in its entirety. We are fighting for civil liberties for everyone. It's never been just concentrated to Black bodies. It has been, yeah, Lindsay laughed at to the tuna, right? I'm like, what? I'm talking. Why are you speaking over me and telling me you're my ally? Stop talking. Like, definitely stop talking for me, because I'm literally speaking. So I want us to really sit with that, because it's uncomfortable, right? Because supremacy culture demands us to label something, right? And for white people, it is that binary that happens, like the either or, either the good white person or the bad white person. And like I told you before, there are no good white people. Let that be freedom for you. Let that be liberating. Let that feel like I don't have to perform anymore. I just have to show up authentically, right? That's it. There are no good white people. The system is made for that, right? It's all men until it's no men. Y'all understand that? understand it's all white people till it's no white people, and by the system, not the people. I'm not trying to have eugenics over here. I'm saying like the systems of whiteness are no longer. Until then, it's all white people until those systems of whiteness are no longer. So sit with that, take a breath, and I'm going to go over the 3 points, okay? 3 points. Decolonized allyship begins with relinquishing power. Listen to that. 2, censoring impact, not intention. Nobody cares about what anybody intends when you bring them harm, right? And everybody's an individual. What I say to one may land okay on someone. What I say to another may not. I'm going to censor the impact. I don't care if I said it 15 times and it landed well on 15 other people. It has nothing to do with the person that I'm speaking to, even when I'm in a group setting, right? I'm in a group setting right now. Somebody may email me later, hey, when you said that, this, that, and the third. Okay, I'm sorry that, what would you like from me? Like, I would love to address how that brought you harm. Let's see what we could do. 3, allyship is a practice of shared responsibility. Are you guys loving my theme? Right? Shared work, collective work, collaborative. Good morning, Michelle. Hey, Anissa. So we're going to go back to number 1, friends. Okay. Decolonized allyship begins with relinquishing power. Traditional allyship often reinforces power imbalances, with allies stepping in as saviors or leaders rather than collaborators. Decolonizing allyship means recognizing when to step back and listen to those directly impacted. As an example, consider a well meaning ally dominating conversations in community meetings instead of passing the mic to the more marginalized voice. True allyship involves creating space, not filling it. Good morning, Bix. And yes, Taylor. Again, I will add in, I did a series on this when the blue bracelets came out. And I'm like, we got to stop, white women. We got to stop. We have got to become co-creators, right? 6 years ago in my Makeshift Happen group, that is what I said. I said, we are doing away with allyship. I hate it. I hate that you guys figured out this word. I don't like it. Similar to narcissist. Don't like it. Don't love it. Co-creators, because that's what we're doing, right? In this space, we are co-creating. I'm talking to you guys. It is impacting you in some sort of way. You talk to another, they talk to another, and that is a ripple effect. And that is a co-creation because now people are super excited. Maybe they're gaining some tools, some wisdom, like, oh, I could use this. Oh, I'm going to take this to the space that I am. And I'm going to open up the conversation in a different way. I'm going to center things in a different way. I'm going to question things in a different way. That's a co-creation, right? It's not just me. It's not just me. It's not just me. It is us. We are showing up here together, right? So we are creating the world that we are seeking. And that is an important thing. I would never, and I have friends across the gamut of humanity. I have Jewish friends from across the diaspora. I have white body Jewish friends. I have trans friends. I have disabled friends, family, all of the things, all of the things, all of the things. And never would I have the hubris to say, I'm an ally to anybody. Because I don't know every single insert marginalized identity. And I can't do that. It's not a self appointed term. Just show up, being a good human, and listening. If you are in a space, right, with a person and they are advocating for themselves and you may have more power, pass the mic. Pass the mic. That is what we have been saying. Pass the mic. I don't need you to speak for me. I don't need you to make a workshop. Okay. Jane Elliott makes my ass itch. She has made an entire living off of DEIA. In case you did not know, that is what Jane has been doing for 20 odd years. Though now all of a sudden, when Black people got the mic, DEIA is a problem and must be abolished. Whatever, we see you. So Jane has been making a living in capitalism off of exploiting Black trauma. That is absurd. Pass the mic. Pass the mic, Jane. You should have been platformed Black people. You should have been platformed anybody else besides yourself. But anyhow, I hope that gets to you, Jane, because I mean that. My whole chest. You are ridiculous. Anyhow, that's my rant for the morning. So yeah, you do need to be centering the person who is the most marginalized in that space, right? Like giving them the platform, bolstering their work, their words. That is a co-creation, right? Because in turn, notice how like I'm talking about my marginalization. I talk about patriarchy for white women. It's terrible in there in those hierarchies. I get it. I see you. Can you see me without thinking you could save me because you can't save yourself from patriarchy? So you damn sure can't save me from racism, right? Like if we could just start with that base, we could do the work of co-creation. You have not been able to save yourself from patriarchy. You can't save me from racism. Okay? Put a pin in that one. Let me say it again. You have not been able to save yourself from patriarchy. You damn sure can't save me from racism. Okay? We're watching how white feminism has utterly and completely failed you. It will not work for us. Okay? Let's try something new and let's do it together. Okay? Patriarchy is killing white men. They have the highest rate of suicide. It is not working for anyone. We must see all of the people in all of the spaces of oppression. There we go. Two, censoring impact, not intention. This is super important. Decolonized allyship focuses on the impact of actions, not just the intention behind them. Good intentions don't excuse harm, and accountability is central to growth. As an example, an ally unintentionally says something harmful during an event and deflects by claiming they meant well. True allyship means accepting feedback and learning rather than becoming defensive. Now, because I do the work with the 15 pillars, I'm aware that defensiveness is the first thing that comes up. So I'm like, I'll deal with the first, right? Oh, I didn't mean that to say another thing. And I'm like, okay, breathe. I'm sure you didn't. I go into it assuming people have the best of intentions, but are you willing to listen to where that went wrong and the impact on many others? If that person is willing to listen, I will continue the conversation. I will continue the education. We will continue, and that is a co-creation, right? Like, hey, I see what you were trying to do there, but that is super duper not how that landed. So let's revisit that. Let's try a different way and let's see. And this is not something to say, let's jump through hoops. We're not going to please all the people all the time. Also, accept that, right? I know I'm not going to please all the people all the time. Okay, don't listen to me. Like that's an option. You have complete and utter control over your body, your choices. You have agency, you have autonomy. I do too, and I'm going to keep speaking. And there are millions of other people that are speaking that you could find that feels more aligned to you. Do not sit in spaces that feel harmful. However, if I do harm somebody, I am super glad to say, hey, I harmed you. I apologize for that. What can I do better? Right? Let's say with this conversation, I didn't like when you said you don't believe in allies. Oh, I'm, I, I hear you. What would you have preferred me say? And let's say they come up with something else, and I would tell them, well, listen, I don't believe in allies. I'm super sorry that that hurt your feelings, but I'm going to say that I'm not the person to be around. You should definitely take care of yourself because I don't believe in allyship. That's not going to change. So I'm not asking people to bend and contort. I'm saying if you are going into community building, if you're going into activism, if you are advocating, be mindful of what you say, do, and show up as will impact other people, right? When I used to talk with people, I used to have a weekly unpacking support group, and I love that. Got to find time to bring that back. Anyway, I used to talk about if you want to figure out how to dismantle these systems, right, where it's like centering the person, centering the impact, not the intent. If you want to really dismantle this system, you have to focus on one person, right? Because right now, like we discussed yesterday, supremacy culture creates spaces that demands compartmentalization, right? Just because it just doesn't even allow us to show up fully as ourselves, let alone in systems, right? It wants to keep us distracted. Focus on this, focus on that, focus on this. Like I can't like walk and chew gum or something. If you want to truthfully dismantle this system, you focus on one person. I'm going to tell you who this person is. Write it down, take a picture, do something. You focus on the most unambiguously Black. If you need to know what that means, that is undeniable, right? You're not questioning if this person has any other lineage, but they are straight African. Unambiguously Black, queer, trans, disabled, poor, non Christian child. That one human being is the most marginalized in this system. If you do the work, if you focus on that one person, you will liberate every person. Every person. If you want to put systems in place that would make that child feel included, that child feel seen, not impact that child with harm, you will do right by everybody. You won't miss a group. You won't miss not a one person. Not one. Keep that in mind. You will cover everybody. You will do it with ease because you're focusing on one, right? So I'm going to work within these systems. They don't allow you to think in multiple spaces and pattern recognition. I get that. Again, I have a lot of time privilege, so I think about these things for hours upon hours and philosophize. One person. You focus on that one person, and this is how this one, right, will you'll be able to worry about impact and not the intent, right? Wait, did I say that right? You will be able to center the impact, not the intent, because you're working on focusing on that one person and setting that one person free from this, seeing that one person and what they need and meeting their needs. You're going to meet everybody's needs. Right? Because now we're not dealing with childism, racism, cis supremacy, Christian supremacy, hetero supremacy. You nailed it all thinking about that one kid. 3, allyship is a practice of shared responsibility. Hercules, Hercules. Decolonizing allyship means embracing collective responsibility, understanding that liberation is interconnected and requires active, consistent work, not performative gestures. As an example, a workplace initiative focuses on equity but shifts the burden of education to marginalized employees. Okay. True allyship would involve allies taking on the labor of self education and creating supportive environments, right? So when you're talking about, okay, how are we going to co create? Like, so I have to show up to work and do this without additional pay. Do you know when DEIA came into play, when all of a sudden it was a thing to do? Like, ooh, what a fun movement that we can capitalize off of and make money. I had so many clients at that time. I was doing one-on-one with decolonization counseling, and so many people that were like, hey, so I literally got bumped up. Like they were already mid-level or high ranking in their positions, but all of a sudden they got a new title. And they didn't know shit from Shinola in regard to anything with diversity, equity, or inclusion, and damn sure not accessibility. So they were still having to utilize the labor of non-white people. I mean, thankfully they paid, but how many people don't, right? Or the expectation is like, well, if you want us to know, teach us. Okay, that's fine. Pay us. Pay for the labor, right? And a lot of places don't do that. And when we're co-creating, it could turn around and be like, hey, I learned this. What do you think about that? Okay, let's do this, let's do that. And putting it together. Like, oh, you learned that? That's amazing. Let me learn about how this is working for you. How does that impact you? And that is a collaboration. That is a co creation. Because I also do not believe, I want to be very clear that I'm not saying go out there and do the work on your own, white women. I've never liked that idea because it's like, you don't know what you don't know, right? So going out there kind of leads into white women leading other white women. And it's like, what are we doing? And I'm like, oh my God, this is how we come right back to the blue bracelets. So, no. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying work together with those who are doing the work, who have been boots on the ground, who have a different lived experience than your own. Make sure that you are centering those voices. If you are working specifically with one group, okay, I am working specifically. Let's say I go and I work with a trans group to help advocate. What do I look like taking front and center? You guys would think I was wrong, right? Like you would be like, damn, Des, I see like three trans women behind you waiting to speak, right? Or like you're just regurgitating what they're already saying. No, if I have a platform, I'm going to turn it over. Like, hey guys, so today this is what we're doing. We are talking about X, Y, and Z. And here are my panel speakers. I'm not a trans woman, right? I could share my cis woman experience in America. I can't tell you what it is to be a trans woman. I can't share my lived experience. And I personally believe that lived experience is going to be the best thing. I watch self proclaimed allies over and over again, regurgitating what you heard. And then when you're challenged, you don't know what to say. And you don't know what to say because it's not your lived experience, right? Like, it's just not your lived experience. I could tell you what I think it is. I could tell you what I heard, but it's not embodied. And this work of community has to be embodied. It has to be a part of who you are as a person. And in order to do that, you have to dismantle all of the things that supremacy culture handed you. And part of that is allyship because it does not exist. We are co-creating, we are collaborating. Maisha T. Hill calls it co-conspirators, right? We all have some cool little names. I like the co-creator because I like to be a little bit woo. And I believe that we're all, like I said, we're all divine, we're all alchemists. We could take something and change it into something else. And that is what this work is about, right? So I'm trying to be mindful of time. So I'm going to go over those 3 talking points yet again. Decolonizing allyship is censoring the decolonizing allyship censors the most impacted by relinquishing power. That is so difficult, and I want you to sit with it, white women, white femmes, why it's so difficult. And I can see why it's so difficult because back in those hierarchies of whiteness, inside of patriarchy, you are powerless. So you step out of whiteness, and all of a sudden, a world opens up to you where you have power. But again, sit with the fact that you have been socialized in white, cis, het, Christian, male patriarchy. You only understand power over, not power with. That is a difficult lesson, but sit with it, and we will be able to tear that up, and you will be able to do the work together. So, relinquishing power, number one thing. Censoring impact, not intention. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. We do not care. Impact over intent. I hear it being stated over and over again. It is not practiced enough. And that is something super important to do, which brings us to point 3. Allyship is a practice of shared responsibility. So if I turn around and say that the way that landed is not cool, you need to be more focused on your impact over your intent, and you want to battle me, that is not a shared responsibility. I'm coming to you as a collaborator, as a co-creator, and saying that's not working, right? This happens and in community building too, right? You can't go and turn around and say, like I was talking, like my ultimate goal is having land, and I will be working with Yolanda from Parenting Decolonized on some other things too, but because she has land, but like I want these things to be in person, right? I want people to practice having community and safe space. Come for the weekend, come hang out. Let's do some conflict resolution. Let's do some nonviolent communication. Let's make some community agreements and practice where you feel safe, right? I also would like some decolonized parenting camps. Imagine trying to have a camp and not asking kids what they want. What? Right? Years ago, when I bought this house that I'm in, I started a homeschooling co-op called Erin's Place. That's my 12-year-old. And we started a gardening program. I think they were like 5, about 5. I asked them what they wanted to do. They're like, I want a garden. Okay, what does that look like to you, right? And we started off with Home Depot buckets. Now we have an actual garden, and it's bigger and it took years to get there, but their input mattered. I'm not going to turn around and say, I'm going to start a school or I'm going to start a camp for kids, and kids don't tell me what they want. Kids are not censored in that decision making. That is wild, right? You can't say that you're an ally and you listen to X, Y, and Z and you read 10 books and all of a sudden you know what every Negro in the world needs. Got to stop that. Got to stop that, right? That is paternalism. That is one of those 15 pillars of supremacy culture. You are practicing paternalism, which is deeply embedded into patriarchy, right? It's very father knows best. And then all of a sudden, white woman comes out of whiteness, and now it's mother knows best. Absolutely not. We're not doing that anymore. In community building, we are relinquishing power, we are censoring impact, and we are sharing responsibility. And on that note, my friends, I will see you tomorrow. It is my off day, as you guys know. So it's Friday. And I stopped at the store and got a whole bunch of smell goods for my house. And I am going to be doing a deep clean and hanging up my mix tiles that have fallen down. So here, take a look at that wall. See that wall? All of those missing pictures. You will not see that tomorrow. Hold me accountable, because that is self-care too, right? 1 week, personal self-care. Next week, home self-care. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I will see you tomorrow, 9:30, same time, same bat channel. Please invite people, come into the space, ask any questions. I want this to feel safe and fun. Thank you, whoever is sending all of those hearts. That feels really good. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow and I will send a recap shortly. Bye.